AI has had a meteoric adoption, and no doubt it's going to have a major impact, already is, on IT, as well as just kind of the broader impact of housing, whether it's residential, commercial. You know, AI is really something that is going to affect all of our lives. In fact, it already has started, and it will just continue. And today, we're lucky enough to have three of the smartest minds. I was amazed when I had early calls with them. I had to really study up for this panel, to be honest with you. And they're all three of them very innovators, very entrepreneur, and you're going to absolutely love hearing from them today. So I'm excited to get into it. All right, I'm going to start with.
Wait a second, just so I'll be, because apparently I'm not that smart, because am I the only renter here? Because okay, I got +1 here. Okay, +2. Oh yeah, okay. I think I've changed my mind during this day, so.
All right. Oren, the recent Microsoft 6,000 layoffs sparking a startup boom in the Pacific Northwest suggests a rapid workforce redistribution. What's your perspective on AI's impact on employment and how these displaced workers likely find new opportunities?
So the way it works, and I always get those questions when there's a shift, and I always get those questions when there's a shift, and every couple of years there's a small shift, and now we're seeing a tremendous shift in technology. AI's been here for a long time, but only in the last few years have we seen breakthroughs that make it incredible changes. So when big changes arrive, some companies are taking, they're holding it and saying, and thinking, how can we do best for our shareholders? How can we provide and look at this as an opportunity? And usually an opportunity makes you think, how can we think differently? And that usually starts with, oh, are we doing this traditionally? Maybe we can do something else. So it doesn't come for, a lot of people think of it as a surprise, but it's not a surprise, and I will see AI coming in a lot of different areas, including here. We've started here a lot, and I do think that everyone should start looking as like, oh, how to embrace the opportunity. I think if people are so scared, like when they think about, oh, losing jobs, it's not that jobs are lost. It never does. Like for the hundreds of years, whenever there's new technology, jobs are not lost. They're just transitioning into something a little bit different. So some of them they're optimizing toward a new era, and I think we all do. We all have to.
Are there some additional skill sets that these workers are going to need to kind of look at or evolve into?
Even right now, even developers, let's look at developers for a second, specifically with
software
AI.
Developers.
Software developers. Yes. Sorry, that's my domain. Every developer right now that's using AI with the co-pilots next to him, right now is already X2, X3, doing much better than a software developer that doesn't. And as Sam Altman just says, like, oh, he's looking at making it X10 within a year. So everyone's focus right now, and it's not just software development, it's like everyone's focus is how can we make you faster, better, more knowledgeable, do more, do more than what you did before.
Okay, very interesting. So next one, I'm going to go to Ofer. With the fire crawl in the next generation co-warehousing, that's one of the, this is that headline. It points to the future where AI-powered information might drastically change physical space needs. How will this impact the demand for industrial, logistics, and even flexible co-warehousing spaces in the Pacific Northwest, moving beyond traditional models?
Right, that's a great question, and this news beat was quite a shock a couple of weeks when it was released. Imagine a startup company backed up by YC Combinator, one of the biggest VCs out there. They're just like, okay, we have our plan, we have our budget, we've secured funding, and we're looking to hire, but not people. We have a budget of $1 million to hire our initial team, all goes to AI. No person is gonna get it, right? So we're not going to talk about why and how, but the thought that the VCs now have in their minds is, hey, maybe labor is not a mandatory line item in the business plan, or maybe we can cut 50, 90, 80%. So the thinking process is not about, hey, let's get a big standard office space, but how do we create dynamic spaces, how we allow to create small groups to collaborate and have innovation centers next to them? How do we run our AI and GPUs next to us so we have good access to the AI? It actually makes you rethink about where you invest. And actually going back to the Microsoft example, you know, you hear about 6,000 people being laid off, $800 million in yearly salary saved by Microsoft, but you forget that at the same time, Microsoft committed to invest $80 billion this year in their data centers. Now, where are the data centers going to be built? I have some insight for you. AI data centers are very power hungry. Like, I'm not talking about kilowatts, I'm not even talking megawatts. I'm talking gigawatt scale, like the Back to the Future crazy assumption. It's here, literally. 1.21 gigawatts, it's what you need to run a data center. How are you going to find it in Bellevue, in Seattle? No, you're going to go east. You're going to go to Grant County, Clark County. Imagine an $80 billion real estate investment in one of those areas. That makes the 6,000 people look like a small thing, right? So as Oren said, think about not how you're losing, think about the world is changing, the continents are shifting, drifting, and you just need to find yourself at the right place.
And I want to go to Mike on this one. In fact, Mike is fresh off of he just got back from Boston last night at the ISG AI Impact Summit, and his company won ISG Startup Challenge, his company Iridius. And I would love actually to have Mike talk to us a little bit about that. And then also, one of the things that we had discussed was talking about essentially AI being sort of like a white collar. It's going to be a big change in the white collar community, and I would white collar workforce, and kind of what that looks like and what the adaptation looks like on that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I just got back from Boston, so if I sound a little tired, I am. And it's funny, I had a dialogue with Dean this morning, and I said, do I have to be here at 7 o'clock in the morning? And they're all like, yeah, you got to be here. I said, I'm there. But yeah, so the ISG AI Startup Challenge was a group of about 150 customers, like Moderna, like, Brinks, Pfizer, a lot of big companies. And the whole challenge was we got 6 minutes to go up on stage and make our pitch, which is not enough time. And they even had a gong at the end to make sure you feel humiliated if you didn't make it. But so the voting was the audience. So they got to vote who they could see being in what product would end up in their company that they would depend on, and we won that. So it was a great shout out to the team that we've got, and we're excited about it. I want to talk about a couple more things before I hit your question. The one thing, I was an engineering executive at Microsoft and AWS for 25 years before I went out and did this startup, building products and shipping them all over the world. One of the things I can tell you is that we were always managed as an executive team. You were always trying to push out the bottom 5% of your workforce every year. That sounds harsh. Don't blame Microsoft. Oh wait, I don't blame AWS or Google. They all do it. and they're trying to bring new talent in to be better than the people they have. So this latest round of layoffs, so I am friends with a lot of executives there now, and one of them came to me and asked me, hey, come on over to the campus, I want to talk to you about some stuff. And he told me, do you know who was let go? And he told me some of the people that I've worked with over 25 years. They were the best, the very best in architecture and design. But guess what? AI can do that. And now I'm going to lean into your question. How do we know that? You look at Google, you look at Microsoft, you look at AWS, and you look at all of them. 40 to 60% of the code they're making today, product quality code, is generated by AI. That is insane, okay? If you look at, now I'm going to your statement. I should tell you, we generate 70% of our product code. So we're building a product for enterprise customers and for even smaller software as a service businesses to use AI correctly. And we may get to that, but the point, to answer your question, when you see the numbers at this magnitude, and it's frightening. The last point I can make about it is Anthropic's CEO, which is a large language model, a platform for AI, came out just this last week, and he said that up to 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs in the United States could disappear. And that is fast. That's within the next 5 years. And I attended an MIT class on AI, and one of the things they said, you even said it, these people will get displaced, but they'll have a new job. The example they used in the turn of the century, in 1900, 40+% of American workers, right, were in agriculture. How much do you think it is now? It's less than 2%, okay? What they didn't say was that transition took a century. The transition that's happening now is nothing like any of us have ever seen. And that is a real thing, and I think the final point on it is that every single CEO that's out there right now is pushing their teams to answer this question. Before you hire anybody, I want you to prove to me AI can't do that job. So the mindset of growing, which is exactly what Ofer said, of growing these big teams, isn't a requirement to build a business. But that being said, nobody has a crystal ball.
Right. Yeah, that's for sure. We never know what will happen. All right, so I wanted to go to the next question. Will be, let's see if I'm going to Oren. I'm going to go on you on this one. This headline is an interesting one, and it clearly illustrates AI's direct impact on white-collar jobs. How do other established Pacific Northwest industries beyond tech prepare their workforces for the similar AI-driven modernization that may lead to job displacement in other areas and growth in others?
I think it connects. I'll start with the answer. Like AI gives us a lot of intelligence and can consume so much data. But I remember the previous talk, I think lovely lady in pink mentioned about, hey, there's new opportunities. Are you underwriting? Well, I don't remember the exact phrasing, but and that's exactly those kind of things that not us just assuming, like that we'll get the knowledge. AI is going to read a lot of information and does so all the time, and will give us insights into, hey, here's a new opportunity, something that you haven't known. Like in that case, I don't know whether she figured like she was smart enough and she did it by herself, like right, but we're going to get a lot of more insights using AI as a multiplier, like power multiplier, that will do much better. We can find new opportunities. We can find them. We can leverage them, and right now the opportunity is that AI has answered for so many questions. I think the only thing that's right now that's missing is we need you to ask the right questions and to find those opportunities. Right now, you need to find them. The person that finds them and he leverages them hits the jackpot, because it's a huge transition right now.
You mean putting in like the right prompts to get you to get the information that you're wanting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether Claude or ChatGPT, they should start being your best friends, or company, or work with products that you leverage them to give you the answers that you need.
I want to actually add to that. You know, a lot of people ask me, so what's the potential? How can AI help me? Yeah, I use some ChatGPT and I use some this and that, but you know, I see so many people talking about it, how it creates a whole company. What am I missing? Like, I was just like, so what did you ask your AI to do last week? Yeah, I asked them, you know, to compare between bananas and apples about their carbs and, you know, protein. And I asked them how to explain influenza to my 11-year-old. And it did great. And you know what? I actually asked it about, you know, I'm going to Poland, and I asked it about some restaurants. So you're not asking the right questions. So let me give you an example. Imagine that I get the team here, all of you guys. I don't know you, but I guess there are some people from real estate, finance, attorneys, builders. Let's say I just hired you all, okay? You all work for me 100% of the time, right? And then we have two people here that randomly would manage this team. We have Oren here, serial entrepreneur. He knows what he's doing, multiple exits, a great manager. And then you have me. I'm, you know, just a layman, just read a few things. And each one of us get to tell you guys exactly what to do in the next year. So I don't know anything about managing a company. I'm just like, yeah, can you get me a coffee? Ooh, that looks nice. Can you? And Oren is like, okay, you guys are sales, you guys are marketing, you guys do that, this is the planning department, this is how we're going to build everything. So within a year, all of you together will do much more than just me who doesn't know how to run a company. So imagine those 400 people are your ChatGPT screens, right? You can ask them to do a lot of questions, but if you don't know how to orchestrate them together, if you don't know how to ask them to plan the project before you build it, or that you need a sales team, or you need marketing, it's not going to give you the entire wisdom. It has it inside, but it adapts itself to you. So if you sound stupid, or it will answer in a stupid way so you understand. And this is what it is designed to do. Ask a smart question. Hey, I'm a CEO building now the business plan, and I need this and this. It will answer right away.
I think the question is, how do you learn to ask it a smart question?
That's the question. And
yeah. I thought it was interesting. I think it was your next headline that you sent me. This will definitely be very applicable to our industry with the deep fakes in real estate security. So I wanted to have you guys speak to that. The FBI is, warning about deep fake voice scams, and escrow offices elevating security due to deep fake scams impacting transactions. What specific processes are most vulnerable? Vulnerable to AI-powered fraud, and how will real estate industry need to adapt its protocol and workforce training to help combat that?
Go ahead.
yeah, I think there are a couple of things. AI is now that good in voice that it could imitate anybody's voice and create a reach-out call to someone that sounds like your mother, your father, and it knows everything about you. It's connected to database, so it's indistinguishable from a person.
For us.
For us, yeah. But for the machines, they can find it. And for example, if you talk with your kids and decide on a keyword that, if you call them and ask them to come with $1,000 quickly, and you need to have a keyword. So there's a new processes that needs to come through to get authentication. I was last month I was in Vegas on a vacation with my family, and we had to do closing, sign documents. It was postponed, and I had to do it there, and we got the mobile notary to our hotel. And, you know, I'm used to Washington notary. There's the process I know. And there, they wanted 3 identifications, and they actually took my thumbprint, right? Apparently, in Nevada, there's a little bit of a different legislation because they had some more fraud, apparently. This is going to make it 100 times more challenging because identifying people is becoming challenging in the way that we've done before. Identifying over Zoom, some lenders and some underwriters support that. Now, is it the right smart thing to do? We don't know yet. Can they increase the security that it will not be an issue? We don't know yet.
Well, on the other side, I can say I know a few companies that right now are trying to solve it. Okay, with AI, on the other hand, trying to identify all those deep fake, like understanding. For us, we can't do that. Like it's too hard. It's getting too hard for us to know whether the person on the other side is not real or not. But there's the tech, of course, is coming, and people are trying to solve that challenge as well. So you'll have like, okay, you'll have to add some standard or something, and then use a tool that complies to some standard that knows how to identify those deepfake. Yeah, those could we're seeing the challenges, and entrepreneurs are already starting to think, okay, if there's a challenge, that's an opportunity. Let's try to solve that as well.
Yeah, I thought that was fascinating because you hear the stories about what was it, the grandchild that was supposedly needing money, and they put the voice on the phone with the grandparents, and it sounded just like the grandchild. And unfortunately, the grandparents got duped, and it wasn't the grandchild. And it's fascinating just how it's
recent statistics in the marketing world. Voice AI used for sales and marketing. Imagine how many calls you get. Are you selling your home? Are you need a new mortgage? So why use people to do that when AI does it better? And a recent research showed that 82% of the people that get those calls have zero idea that it's AI. Actually, it sounds to them better than the calls you get from all those call centers in all the weird places in the world with the unique sounds of cows and dogs in the background. So the AI can imitate the dogs and cats and make it sound real. No, just kidding, but it sounds amazing, much better than the original.
And it's easy to do A/B testing. So that means every time you run 100 calls, you put it in groups, and then you try different voices, and you see what works better. This accent, that accent, and that's why it's really optimizing. It helps you make the changes, and then you see, oh, after a week, this works well.
Right. Mike, one of the things that we were talking about is considering all the aspects discussed, employment, workforce, housing, infrastructure. What would you say is the single most important strategic priority for the Pacific Northwest to ensure that it maintains its competitive edge and fosters sustainable growth?
I'd say there's a few things. Before I answer that, I want to go back to the doom and gloom we just all painted for everybody. Let me say what the opportunity is. The opportunity is you have the Pacific Northwest, and I'm a native, has the 2 biggest AI companies, 2 of the biggest in the world, right here. That means AI talent is going to be pulled into this region. The AI talent now is very costly. I think that will come down over time as it becomes a pervasive technology. But that's the plus side, right? And I'd say the other thing that we have to do as a region, if we were really thinking hard about this, is we've got to have everybody know AI. We have to be the best in the world at it in the Pacific Northwest. That will only make us more productive. It will make us more efficient. It will bring more money into this region by a lot. And I think the people that know AI are going to be the people with really the big jobs and have a very healthy future for employment. the people who do not, that are in a white collar like jobs, it's scary. So I think that's the message I'd give, is that push people, your kids, your friends, and yourselves, just jump in and go learn. And every day's a chance to learn. Have a learn-it-all mindset.
I'd like to bring Matthew Gardner back to the conversation, because I want to try and bring this home for the impact to residential real estate and investment. And you were saying something, Mike, about basically wealth generation. I mean, so while we might not have the same kind of jobs, what's the impact on stock values? Because it's not the job that's buying the waterfront homes around here, it's the stock. And we have a lot of very important companies that you just said were very high centered on AI right now. So I'm asking for kind of an open dialogue about, like, which way is this going to go? Is it going to make the stock value of Microsoft go much higher because they're adopting AI, or Google, or any of the other tech giants like Amazon?
Yeah, what I'd say is that if you look at what drives the stock price, right, it's profitability, contribution margin, and being able to do more with less cost, right? It's optimizing efficiency and inventing, right, to drive the bottom line. New opportunities, new business. So that will improve, right? Costs are going to go down for the big hyperscalers and for companies like ours, right? We're not going to have to hire all the people that we used to hire to really show bottom line impact.
Thoughts, Matthew?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big concern is uncertainty, right? I mean, PricewaterhouseCoopers came out with the numbers, McKinsey, 30% job loss by 2030. Globally, 300 million people won't have anything to do by 2050 because of AI. So there's that worry about, okay, what are these people going to do? I think it's centered to a degree on entry-level jobs are going to get hit harder. I think jobs which are a lot of automation goes into it, repetitiveness, that's going to get hit as well. But I think at the same time, it improves productivity massively, which improves share prices. Again, what's the share price? It's an expectation of future earnings. That's what it is. So I think that there's a lot of positives out there. But anytime you see anything uncertain, we just don't know, right? And immediately it goes back, believe it or not, a movie I watched with this guy 30 years ago was called The Matrix. We actually saw it together in a movie theater. Walked out going, what the hell was that? Anyway, no, but what was happening there, it always reminds me of that one scene where they're looking around at the globe, which is decimated, because, what did Lawrence Fishburne say? Oh, we thought we ruled the world because we discovered AI. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? But I think in reality, though, there's going to be massive opportunities there. I think Bill Gates' view that AI will help solve certain forms of cancer, which is really important. I think that's going to happen. I think productivity is going to improve, share price will improve. But I think we really need to adjust and pivot on what we are learning. And so I think that there's a lot of positives. The negatives, yeah, they're there. My biggest negative is power. I mean, talk about gigawatts, which you're right. I mean, mini nuclear is going to have to happen because AI sucks up so much, it makes crypto energy consumption negligible. So I'm seeing more glass half full, but the immediate impact, I think, is going to be on markets which have a high propensity for well-educated people, and that is around here.
And so we should become the evergreen state still. It used to be that we were the evergreen state because it was easier to make money here and to keep it, because we were more affordable, we didn't have the income tax. And now we have the capital gains tax, which is real estate exempt, as you know, but it's just no government's ever met a tax that they didn't like to keep, right? So we'll see what happens. As opposed to, say, California, which we tease sometimes, it's the golden state because you need to be made of gold to live there. But what we're seeing is a lot of people are migrating this way because we have the runway of office space, clearly. We have a great lifestyle. We have affordable energy. I think Ofer, you had a slide up there that it deserves some attention because, Grant County and what's happening east of the Cascades, we have sunshine, we have hydropower, and we have cheap real estate for now, right? And it's going to change the center of gravity for where people are living potentially too, right? So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you know, it's like the Cold War, arms race, but with AI. Those data centers, they're not being called data centers anymore, they're being called intelligence factories. Because what they do is they manufacture the intelligence and knowledge that ChatGPT provides you with every day, right? When you go and ask the question and ask for something new, create a new document, and knowledge, information is being generated. So those factories are the future of AI. And when you look at the trends, you see them being built next to power. Microsoft just purchased an all decommissioned nuclear power plant. What's the name? Yeah, and so they're going to revive it just so they can get some power run in this area, right? And those projects are not there's project in scale that you have never seen before. I just saw the other week the Stargate project in Texas that OpenAI is setting up. Imagine, you know how $1 million real estate project looks like. You know how a $10 million project looks like. And you even know how a $1 billion real estate project looks like, one of the high rises in Seattle. But have you ever seen how a 500 billion real estate project looks like? I encourage you to go see the new data center by OpenAI and see how 2,500 people working in the field with no limit of budget. Like they just set up a new power plant just as a backup. No power limits, no budget limits, just get it as soon as possible. And this kind of momentum is also going to get to here, to Washington State, because we have the hydropower. So we're going to see massive, massive changes in how the capital for Microsoft and the other players is being deployed, what are the priorities, and what kind of teams they need. Imagine the kind of team you need to set up something like that produces 1 gigawatts of power. Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say very, very quickly, I see, especially given who you guys are, where entities that won't be impacted or less, you guys will be using AI, but the human interaction on buying and selling real estate is exactly that, it's a human interaction. For 97% of us, it's the most expensive thing we ever buy in our lives. I just don't think we're ready to let a machine tell us what we should or whether we should. And so really I think those industries where it is person to person, AI would be a great tool, but I don't think it being a replacement.
So final question for the couch here. What was a similar proxy in the Industrial Revolution or in the time of man and this earth that you think this moment of AI over the next 24 or 36 months would resemble? Just an impact to society.
Fire.
Which one?
When the human started to use fire, warmth, cooking, fire danger. I think it's the same.
Which turned to steam and steam engines, which was an industrial revolution.
Internal combustion engine.
Okay, Oren, what's your answer?
I agree. I tend to agree. This is
Microphone first.
I'm sorry. I tend to agree. This is huge. This is really huge. And I like to combine the metaphors that they use. He said that like you're the CEO now, and you use the metrics, and think about it that you have. And I'm looking at you because you now have next to you the power to get any skill that you want, just like the metrics. Click a button. You want to know something, you have the knowledge next to you. Just figure out what you want to ask. So that's why I think it's as equivalent as what he said. This is enormous.
And you know a thing or two about this because you've built a company and sold it very successfully, and I think I heard you say you're renting currently, so that might change by the time you get through the lobby. Back to Mike, final answer.
So if I look at kind of the entire history of the world, I agree fire is probably it. But let's look at some things that are recent, right? The internet. Every AI leader I know thinks this is bigger than the internet. The smartphone, this is bigger. So I think the way I'd leave it for everybody is imagine, I heard this is the greatest thing. If you had a 12-year-old and you were explaining to them, what is AI? I just say, look, imagine you could have the smartest kid in your school with you every second of the day to give you any answer you need on questions that you have to solve. And that person not only was your best friend, but had a PhD, a number of PhDs at your fingertips. That's what this is.
And what's the heat map for the Pacific Northwest? Because I want to bring this back to real estate. How critical is AI to the future of our industry of residential real estate and investment to the Pacific Northwest? And who is a equal second or is outgunning us currently? And I mean, you might take us to China, you might take me to Texas. Like, how important is this conversation for this audience to know about the impact to the Pacific Northwest, and how competitive is the Pacific Northwest in this new arena?
Well, I think right now we're very, very competitive worldwide. So that's ours to lose, right?
Okay.
And I think so there's going to be a ton of opportunity with incoming technical leaders and paying jobs where this group could take advantage of that. I would say that's number one. And then number two is, if you look at it from an international perspective, there is an AI race going on between China, the free world, Russia, North Korea. And so at an international scale, I can tell you, and I know some people on the inside on this, at Microsoft in particular, the federal government is just throwing money at this problem to solve it for the Air Force and for our armed forces, because, and you'll see, I think, a lot of that money coming into this area.
It's good news.
I think there's also the reason why the late, great Mr. Paul Allen opened an artificial intelligence institute at the University of Washington. Did it a number of years ago. There's a reason why. I mean, he was very much forward thinking, and that's not going to stop. So do I think we're going to be at the front and center in this? I believe we are. Again, like anything else, everyone's trying to write off Seattle region for decades. Somehow or another, we always come back and win. It's kind of scary that way, other than the Super Bowl, but there we are.
Well, this could be the new Seattle fire that you said. Yeah. Well, fantastic. Guys, can you help me welcome and thank this incredible panel? We're going to take a picture together.